You feel a creeping dread every time someone talks about passion or purpose at work, even though you used to believe in it. That chronic exhaustion you carry isn't from working hard. It's from volunteering your deepest drive to a system that gives nothing back. There's a particular kind of fatigue that settles in when you're doing something you genuinely care about, only to find yourself utterly depleted, hollowed out, by the end of the day. It's not the physical toil. It's an internal depletion, a quiet drain on your very operating system. You might dismiss it as a lack of grit, or perhaps you just haven't found your true calling yet, believing that the right purpose would somehow magically erase this burnout. But what if this exhaustion isn't a personal failing at all, but a calculated output, a feature of the architecture you operate within? This isn't just about finding the right job or having enough resilience. Your internal state, that gnawing sense of being emptied by work you once genuinely loved, is a direct consequence of a sophisticated protocol. The mandate to do what you love sounds like liberation, but it functions as an upgrade to the system's extraction capabilities, executed right inside your own head. This seemingly empowering phrase creates an internal command for endless over-delivery, bypassing the need for traditional incentives like raises, promotions, or even fair working hours. It is an ingenious way for the machine to tap into your intrinsic motivation, turning your deepest desires for meaning and contribution into a resource that costs them nothing extra. The system doesn't need to compel you. It merely asks you to volunteer your essence, convinced you're serving a higher purpose. When you operate under the do-what-you-love conditioning, your personal purpose becomes a direct conduit for corporate gain. Employers gain tactical access to your deepest motivation channels, the very wellsprings of your intrinsic drive. This allows them to convert your desire for personal fulfillment into unpaid overtime, uncompensated emotional labor, and a willingness to accept conditions you would otherwise reject. Think of the extra hours you willingly pour into a project because it aligns with your passion, or the emotional resilience you deploy to navigate toxic dynamics, justifying it because the mission matters. This isn't charity. It's a resource transfer. The system has learned to outsource its most critical labor, your internal drive, directly to you at no additional line item cost. This is the core mechanism of passion exploitation, the systematic practice of converting your personal purpose, your unique skills, and your deepest intrinsic drive into a resource for the system at zero additional cost to its operators. It's a silent transaction, an architectural rewrite where the value you produce is no longer solely tied to your compensation, but also to your self-worth, your identity, and your internal narratives about making an impact. The work becomes an extension of who you are I, making it nearly impossible to draw a clear line between personal investment and professional demand. This blurs the boundaries so effectively that to pull back, to set a limit, feels like a betrayal not of your employer, but of yourself, of your very calling. The effect is insidious because it operates at a core level. It subtly rewrites your internal operating system. You are conditioned to self-exploit your own energy, time, and emotional reserves, not because a manager explicitly demands it, but because your programmed beliefs tell you this is how purpose is achieved. Wow. This internal script tells you that any discomfort or exhaustion is a sign you're not working hard enough, not caring enough, or simply lack the fortitude required to make a difference. This creates an endless loop of self-generated pressure, where you push yourself past sustainable limits, all while believing you are pursuing your true path. The system has effectively turned you into your own most efficient, most unforgiving taskmaster, operating on a protocol you didn't consciously install. The profound chronic burnout you feel isn't some badge of honor or an unfortunate side effect of a demanding role. It is a predictable, designed consequence of this internal operating system running an unoptimized extraction protocol. You might think burnout is just about being tired, about needing more rest or a vacation. That's the superficial raid, the one they want you to take. But the deeper truth is more urgent. Your internal architecture, your capacity for genuine intrinsic motivation, is being left behind. As the world accelerates, as demands intensify, this system of self-exploitation is draining your ability to adapt, to innovate, to even perceive new possibilities beyond the current extraction loop. You're not just exhausted, you're becoming architecturally obsolete, unable to keep pace. You are watching the world update its operating systems at a pace never before seen, while your own internal architecture is still running a legacy program designed for relentless self-sacrifice. This makes you vulnerable. While others are learning to segment, to guard their core drives, you are still offering yours up as free collateral. The faster the world moves, the more opportunities arise for exploitation, and the more critical it becomes to identify these hidden protocols. Your exhaustion is a warning signal, a system's alert that your internal firewall has been compromised. It's not simply a matter of rest. It's a matter of architectural integrity. You cannot innovate, adapt, or build anything new when your foundational energy is perpetually redirected into someone else's infrastructure for free. Recognizing this exploit is the first and most critical step toward reclaiming your internal sovereignty. It's about seeing the mechanism, not just feeling its effects. The moment you acknowledge that your drive is being weaponized, that your passion is being leveraged as currency for a system that gives nothing back, you shift from being a passive resource to an active architect of your own boundaries. This isn't about becoming jaded or cynical. It's about tactical awareness. It's about understanding that the very things that give you meaning, when unchecked, can become the most effective tools for your own depletion. This clarity is not comfortable, but it provides the critical diagnostic needed to begin the hard resegmentation of your internal systems. What you felt as personal failure or a lack of internal fortitude is, in fact, the predictable outcome of a system designed to extract infinite value from your finite resources. The do what you love narrative isn't just benign encouragement. It's a sophisticated, weaponized protocol that bypasses your conscious awareness to reprogram your deepest drives for external gain. You've been operating on a system that leverages your most sacred internal impulses against your own well-being, leaving you architecturally vulnerable and perpetually drained. The next step is not about fighting the system, but understanding how it operates within you, and then installing new internal contracts. The key lies in recognizing when your passion is leveraged as currency, and then consciously decoupling your personal purpose from corporate purpose. Only then can you begin to reclaim your sovereign internal operating system, not through more effort, but through precision architecture. What you've felt as personal failure or a lack of internal fortitude is in fact the predictable outcome of a system designed to extract infinite value from your finite resources. The do what you love narrative isn't just benign encouragement. It's a sophisticated, weaponized protocol that bypasses traditional labor protections entirely. This system doesn't need to coerce you. It doesn't need to threaten. Instead, it leverages your deepest psychological drives. It installs a new directive: self-exploitation as the path to meaning. When your purpose becomes tethered to an organization's objectives, the lines blur, and your personal investment is weaponized. Your intrinsic desire to contribute, to find significance, is converted into an unlimited liability. This isn't just about extra hours. It's about the erosion of your internal compass, recalibrating it to serve external, uncompensated agendas. You become the unwitting operator of your own extraction, believing you're chasing fulfillment when you're simply feeding the machine. This is the new architecture of uncompensated value. This bypass reroutes your internal operating system. Traditional protections against exploitation, like hourly wages or overtime, become irrelevant when you are your own taskmaster. You've been programmed to treat your personal energy, your creative drive, your finite time, as an inexhaustible corporate asset. This is why the passion project often bleeds into unpaid overtime, or why sacrificing personal life for the mission feels like a moral imperative rather than a red flag. Your capacity for self-care, for rest, for boundary setting is actively overwritten. The system exploits the emotional currency you invest. The more you care, the more you give without demanding reciprocal value. This isn't a glitch. It's the intended feature, designed to ensure continuous, cost-free output from a motivated, self-regulating labor unit. The chronic burnout you're experiencing is not a sign you lack passion. It's the predictable system output when your internal architecture is locked in a constant loop of uncompensated value transfer. While the world outside accelerates, your capacity to update yourself, to adapt, to innovate for your own benefit, is systematically drained. you are left behind, your personal operating system frozen by resource starvation. This stasis is by design. If you are perpetually exhausted, your capacity for critical thought, for questioning the directives, for building your own alternative, is severely diminished. The machine keeps evolving, fueled by your uncompensated labor, while your internal growth is stunted. This is the high-velocity cost of doing what you love without clear boundaries. Breaking this cycle demands a hard resegmentation. You must consciously decouple personal purpose from corporate purpose. This is not about abandoning your passion, but about installing a new internal firewall. Begin with a 3-point decoupling scan. First, identify the activities that genuinely energize you, independent of external reward or recognition. Second, track where your passion-driven efforts directly serve an organizational bottom line, beyond fair compensation. Third, pinpoint where your emotional investment overrides your rational assessment of value exchange. This scan identifies the critical points of infiltration. It reveals where the system has hijacked your core drives. This is the first architectural blueprint for self-defense. Once identified, you must establish new, non-negotiable internal contracts for your time and energy. Think of these as personal SLAs, service-level agreements, that you make with yourself. This means explicitly defining the boundaries of your engagement. For any task labeled passion project by your organization, ask, is this compensated commensurate with my personal value? Does this serve my own growth trajectory or solely the system's? If the answer is no, the internal contract shifts. You reclaim ownership. This might mean saying no to uncompensated scope creep, declining optional passion-driven initiatives, or demanding explicit compensation for work previously rendered for exposure or for the mission. This is how you reroute value back to your own internal ledger. This resegmentation isn't an act of disengagement. It's an act of architectural self-preservation. You are installing a new firewall against the continuous extraction of your sovereign resources. This is how you reclaim your internal operating system from external programming. You become the administrator, not the exploited terminal. The shift occurs when you recognize that your core drivers, your genuine passions, your desire for purpose, are not commodities to be leveraged, but protected assets. Guard them. Cultivate them outside the reach of any system that seeks to convert them into uncompensated labor. Your internal architecture becomes a fortress, not an open-source platform for corporate appropriation. This is the upgrade you need. You've been operating under a deeply embedded protocol. The exhaustion you feel is the alarm signal. Now you have the diagnostic. Begin the resegmentation today. Identify the blurred lines. Reclaim your internal contracts. Install your firewalls. The world will continue to accelerate, and the systems will continue to seek new vectors for value extraction. But with this understanding, you are no longer a passive resource. You are an informed Your core drivers are your most powerful assets. Protect them. Apply this architecture. It is the tactical code for defending your sovereign self in an accelerating world. The next instruction set is yours to write.